Glad to have you back. Now let's go into our next discussion. Members of the three non-academic unions at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, have joined the national body of the associations on an indefinite strike.
The leadership of the three unions announced their decision after an emergency congress at the university premises in Akure, Ondo State capital. Now, TVC's Ayodiji Moraide has more on that story.
Members of three non-academic unions at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, FUTA, converge on this hall for an emergency congress. Those that gathered in this hall are drawn from the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, and National Association of Academic Technologists, NAT. At the end of the congress, which lasted for an hour, they resolved to join the industrial action ordered by the national bodies of the unions by asking members to proceed with an indefinite strike.
The outcome of our congress is that from this moment, the non-teaching staff of all the universities in Nigeria are going on strike from today, and it is going to be total, comprehensive and indefinite strike until federal government implements all we have in the 2009 agreement.
Some of the demands of the striking unions are reinstatement of SAC staff school teachers, shortfall in salary payment, and non-payment of earned allowances. Chairman of NASU, Bayo Alade Rutong, and that of NAT, Alex Omorige, speak more on the demands of the unions.
Since January 2017, our members in staff primary school have not been earning salaries. And we went to court. We got a favorable judgment from the National Industrial Court in Abuja. Up till now, the federal government has not deemed it fit to obey that judgment, nor even appeal to that judgment. The issue of academics taking over duties of non-academics in the system.
The nonchalant attitude of the federal government to the university system, particularly, we went into an agreement in 2009, and as of today, none of the items of the agreement has been implemented. We had MOU early this year, that January 17th to be precise, and that MOU has not been honored.
But the federal government still negotiating with members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. The latest strike by the non-academic unions will further paralyze academic activities in the nation's universities. Ayodiji Moraide, TVC News, Akure, Ondo State.
All right, more local unions are, indicating interest to joining the national strike.
Exactly, of the Joint Action Committee of SANU, NASU, and NAT.
Yeah. Now, joining us in the studio is the former chairman, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian University, SANU Unilag Chapter, Shegun Odunso. All right, Shegun, it's good to have you join us right now.
Thank you for joining
Good morning. Now, make us understand. A lot of grievances SANU and all of the other associations have stem from the 2009 agreement. 2009 until now is a long time. Tell us why now that SANU and the others are deciding to go on this indefinite, comprehensive strike and total.
I just want to say it is not just now. It's just that a lot of things has been going underground that is not appearing to so many people in the country. And because this non-teaching staff in the university, we don't just make noise. A lot of negotiation and renegotiation and so on underneath. But it is when government refuse or when the union find out that government is taking them for granted that you see what is happening now.
All right. Yes, and the 2009 agreement, we understand, apart from that, there was a memorandum of understanding entered into with the government in January, and yet the government has done nothing so far. So, like Mike just asked you, is it because ASU is on strike now? That is why the Joint Action Committee of SANU, NASU, and NAT decided to embark on strike to compound.
It's taking advantage of the opening.
No, it's not because ASU is on strike. All these four unions in the tertiary institution used to be one. or two, the senior and the junior staff in those days. So whatever is affecting ASU is affecting other workers in the university. Yeah. But maybe, like you said, in January, we were supposed to go on this indefinite strike, but the government pacified by entering into memorandum of understanding with the union. So we trusted them that they will do something. But up to now, they have not done it, and we have been talking to them. But at times, if a father have 4 children in the house, and you seems to be preferring to talk to one and leaving the 3, you should know that it's not easy for 3 people to come together, if not because they are suffering the same pains from this family called the university environment. So it's not because ASU is on strike, but because government is not doing what is expected of them. And this thing has to come up now so that to protect the future.
Would you blame the government? Because after entering into the MOU in January, there was no time frame set. Would you blame the government for not doing anything yet? Because government could come out and say that, okay, we were about to even implement some of the agreements before the strike.
They will not just come and implement when people are dead. You have to give people what is due to them when they are still alive. Look at the issue of the staff school. Our members in the staff school, the government just woke up one day and said they are no longer to be in the payroll of university. And these staff schools are created ab initio for the training of education students in the university, so that they use it as their practical basis in the university, those students in the education faculties. Now you woke up and said they no longer belongs to this thing. We went to Industrial Arbitration Court. We have the judgment that government should not go the way they wanted to go, that they should return back to our status quo. But up to now, government refused to obey the judgment of the court. All and right. We have been talking to them. But you know the kind of government we have, I don't know what is wrong with us in this country.
Okay. At the time of signing the Memorandum of Understanding, were there time frames as to, or targets as to when some of these issues that were signed and agreed should be implemented or executed?
You know, the time frame is that, you know, that time, just as we are now, for things to return to normal, if a meeting is called now and talk to the union leaders that we are going to begin this implementation immediately. So you understand? Because we are not interested in keeping the students at home. We want them to be back. We have our children here. Most of these people in government, they don't have their children in this country. I have all my children in this University of Lagos where I am working, but they have their children UK, USA, and so on.
So why not mount pressure on the government after the MOU in January? Why wait till now? Why were there other meetings, subsequent meetings after the
there have been several letters, several attempts to meet the government. It's not that we are waiting up to now. After that MOU, there have been several letters written to them, several representation to the government. But you know, it is when the thing gets to the peak that people know what is happening within the system.
Yeah, but in this case, at the point of signing an MOU where, you know, I have agreed to these terms, if targets were not set and timeframes were not fixed, and there was no agreement as to how these things will be implemented, apart from the fact that, okay, we've agreed we're going to do this, and then the leaders of SANU and NASU, all of them decided to relax. Is that the right way to go? Would you say that the leaders of SANU and NASU really did a good job in negotiation?
No, they did a very perfect job. It is just that we don't have a government that is listening to the yearnings of the populace. The leadership did a very perfect job. And you know, when you set a target, you can't force government to come and sit down and work on those targets. When you go send your representation, the governments are not forthcoming. There's no way you can force them that they should come and begin the talk on that memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
But the leadership did a very perfect job.
So why didn't members of the unions meet with executives anyway of the unions, meet with the federal government yesterday? We heard there was supposed to be a meeting, but no member of Joint Action Committee of SANU, NASU and NAT.
You know, there is a lot of propaganda in the government arena. Supposing you want to have a meeting with me 9 o'clock this morning, and you send the invitation maybe around 8:30, how do you expect me to meet up with that kind of arrangement? So, but government will go out and send the propaganda that we have called them, but they are not coming. So a lot of things happens there, which is not known to people outside, but we know what is happening within the government. So
it wasn't a well-planned meeting to involve the executives. Well,
all right, a lot of people have accused your union of, because if you look at the demands, a lot of them have to do with allowances, salaries, implementation of upgrades and Contes 14 and Contes 15 and so on. A lot of people say the unions are really very selfish in their demands. What do you have to say about this?
No, that could not be true.
Okay.
When we are talking that infrastructures in the university is not well maintained, a lot of abandoned projects, that is not a personal thing to anybody. That government should establish NUPEMCO is not a selfish thing. But
what is no, for the sake of everyone, what is NUPEMCO, so we can all understand?
That is a university-based pension company to manage the pension deduction from university staffs.
All right.
That we should be withdrawn from this general something. Let us manage our future by ourselves in the university system all over the country. So, but government is refusing. What does it cost them if they don't have anything hidden? So all those, a lot of things are not, well, when you talk about earn allowances, if government were not ready to obey those things, why do they append their signature in 2009? Nobody forced them then that government, you should sign this thing. But they signed willingly. Okay.
Don't you think, of course, we understand government is in continuum, but don't you think there is a need now for not just your unions anymore, but as well to enter into another form of agreement, renewed agreement with the current administration, because we know that the country right now just got out of recession and there are so many issues at play here?
No, if a student doesn't pass exam in class 2, you can't promote that student to go to class 3 now. This agreement reached in 2009 must be implemented before we move into negotiating another agreement. And in fact, this agreement of 2009 is supposed to have been renegotiated in 2012. We agreed then that every 3 years, the agreement will be renegotiated. But when the one for 2009 has not been implemented, how do you move to renegotiate again? So a student must pass in a class before you promote that student to another class.
And we were talking about the renegotiation of the original agreement, since it seems that subsequent governments since 2009 have been found it quite difficult to implement the agreements. So now that it seems the present administration wants to do something good by the side of ASU, and of course, well, from the news we got that they're trying to meet with you, don't you think to get the government to be able to implement the agreements easily, there is need to shift position a little bit?
It's not possible to shift anything because year in, year out, government has been saying they are budgeted for this 2009 agreement. They have been telling the union it's in the budget. Initially, in 2009, they said it was not in the budget, that in 2010, it will be included in the budget. They did that. That money, nobody knows where the money enters. In 2011, they said it will be in the budget. What happens to all those budgeting for all these agreements? Or will they come out now and tell us those budgets that have been promised the union that they want to put all these negotiated agreements, what is happening? Who is carrying those money? And where are they putting the money? And you said you just moving out of recession. We are in recession. Some of them are buying big jeeps, carrying Ghana must go, carrying everything everywhere. Where the peanuts they're supposed to pay the poor workers, they cannot even do that. But they can afford to buy jets and buy big cars for themselves. I don't want to believe the recession is up to that they should not be able to attend the poor masses.
All right. One of the demands that is put forth that's making your union go on strike, from what we read, is corruption in the university system. If there is corruption in the university system, should that be directed at the government? Or instead, it should be the school authority or the school management that should be directed to?
It's to all of them. Because most of the time when the union makes noise, government that is appointing them, they seems to put cotton wool in their ears. They don't want to hear. Until when the thing gets into a larger distance, like what is happening in Funab, Akure, and so many other places, Abuja, a lot of other universities, the unions are making noise that the way the management are managing the money, the funds are not good. But government who appoints them, it seems they are not hearing what we are saying.
But isn't there a mechanism for all of you? Because the university is like a community. It's like a mini society of its own. Isn't there any mechanism of you checking the school system, the management, how monies, exactly, how monies are run?
Yes, they are supposed to be.
Oh, they're supposed to be, yes, but there's none.
No, you know, there's no way you can check them. There was, because of the pressure of the union, they set up a budget management committee, okay, where unions are part of it. Even when you are there and you say it, there's no way you can prevent them from doing what they want to do. That is why I said it's supposed to be, but they are not doing it the way it's supposed to be done.
So non-academic staff members believe that the government should carry out a probe of how funds released to universities have been spent so far.
Yes, but before we move further, I want to correct an impression. The unions are not non-academic unions, because they are non-teaching unions, non-teaching. Because amongst us, we have PhD holders. Do you want to see somebody that is having a doctorate degree in university is a non-academic person?
So is non-academic staff.
The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, non-academic staff union. So it's a collection of unions.
So you have to start from changing.
So it's not necessarily non-teaching.
Non-teaching.
Yes, non-teaching
is the correct word.
Yeah, but the names of your associations, they stand, isn't it? They subsist.
Yes.
Fine. So that's what we're calling.
So we're calling you by the name of
the name of your association.
No, it's only one that is having that name. For example, the NAT is National
Association of Academic
Technologies.
Exactly. So you can't just, and SANU, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities,
academic staff
where I can boldly say that most of us are PhD holders. We also lecture as part-time in some other areas. The only thing is that we choose to be administrators in university. So.
All right, no problem. We understand.
But that's still water down the plight of all members under JAC, right?
Yes.
The Joint Action Committee.
Yes.
All right, Comrade Shegun Odunsowo, former chairman, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, UNILAG chapter. Thank you for talking to us right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.